Yes, and welcome guys to the preview of the 10th game of the World Cup. It's India and Pakistan. It's a super Saturday, probably the most awaited clash, of the World Cup. All of us have been looking forward to it, one way or the other. A lot of off-field chatter around it, of course, and we know why that's been happening. In fact, a lot has been made about the opening ceremony that was supposed to happen, and now it's supposed to be only in Stadia fans who are going to experience it, and all of that jazz. Anyways, we've got Nikhil Bhai, we've got Gurkirat. Without further ado, let's just start. Nikhil bhai, looking forward to the game. Excited?
Yes, and also I see Somesh has done his trick. कल उसने बोला था कि हम गए हैं तो प्रबंध करते हैं कुछ और प्रबंध कर दिया खाली वही वही सेरेमनी देख रहे हैं हमने नहीं देखी which is I don't know good bad for people to decide but a good game crucial game for the crowds also involved. I just wish there were more games which were marketed in such a way that you had so many people coming in but ठीक है for now I will take this.
True, and since you've already mentioned it, Gurkirat, what do you make of this? Like India Pakistan being promoted so extensively, almost as if that's the only game that's going to happen in this World Cup. Like no other game, not even India Australia, got the kind of traction, got the kind of push that we're seeing the India Pakistan encounter get. I mean, not something we're surprised with, but even then, it's a bit disappointing, you would say.
It is disappointing because, as from a broadcaster point of view, it's about all the 44 other games in the league stage, and then there are the 3 knockout games. So you should be looking to promote that. If you see, it's fine even if you promote it a day before, or you talk about it in general. But talking about this game while you are doing a mid-innings show of another game, and you are asking players of other teams to talk about this, I think that's not on. That's very juvenile, if you were to ask me. So yeah, that is something, because see, at the end of the day, you have to realize that there are other teams that have also come to play here. They are not here just to fill the numbers, and you have to treat them accordingly. So if you're going to ask captains of other teams or players of other teams, oh, what are your thoughts on India Pakistan, that it's a pretty, I won't even say it's indirect, it's a pretty subtle way maybe, of telling them that yeah, you guys don't matter as much as the other 2 teams. So yeah.
Sorry, Gurkirat. I have to step in there. You're giving BCCI way too much credit. There's nothing subtle about this. They're as in your face as they can be. They're probably one more India
Pakistan. आज है तो आज उसके बारे में बात करते हैं, आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Exactly. Anyways, the reason why we are different is because we stick to what is on the field. So let's just stick to that. Santosh, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry about that. I stand corrected. I wanted to say day 10. Yeah, my bad. I stand corrected. 12th. This is the 12th game, guys. And this is day 10, of course. India-Pakistan. The toss is about to happen anytime now. And Nikhil bhai, let's start with you. We know that this is going to be a black soil wicket. And this is something we were also chatting off air in terms of what to expect. And could we potentially even see someone like an Ashwin make a comeback over, say, Shami and Shardul? So what do you think of this surface, and what are you expecting in terms of changes for the Indian team?
Yeah, see, again, the only debate is going to be the number 8 bit. So that is a never-ending debate. World Cup जीतने के बाद we will still end up debating के इसके बदले ये खेलता तो भी ये होता and all of that. So as long as they are able to read conditions well, and that is going to be the key part, क्योंकि black soil wicket है तो शायद low bounce और थोड़ा spin देखने मिलेगा in both innings. But as per the pitch report, it looks a very well rolled wicket. और very well rolled. इतनी ज़्यादा बार बोल दिया कि अभी अगर इस पिच पे 300 नहीं बनता तो you will find कि भाई क्या कर रहे थे, मतलब how is this not well rolled enough? So let's see what the captains also have to say, because that will also give us a lot of idea कि how are they reading this, and because eventually it's how they read this is important, क्योंकि पिच रिपोर्ट में तो आप कुछ भी सुनो, जो चीज कैप्टन ने सोची है they are the guys who will have the resources and they'll treat it differently. So waiting to hear what those two also have to say about the pitch.
True, and Gurkirat, another very likely change is that of Shubman Gill finally making his way into the team after the dengue and all of that. So is that good signs? You're expecting some runs from him, given that he is considered to be the Prince of Ahmedabad?
You'd hope so, given how he batted versus Pakistan in that last game in Asia Cup. So yeah, that's a welcome change, and I hope that if he's able to, bat the first 10-15 overs, then he's also able to take care of someone like Mohammad Nawaz, with that left arm spin, because he's done decently versus left arm spin. So let's hope for that. And as far as that number 8 debate is concerned, I don't think I don't think
Toss.
Shah-
India win the toss. Get in, lads. Legit. Yeah, after that.
we need to make sure our shows are free of streakers running around. We
Come
can't have
on,
this.
Gurkirat.
We
Come
can't
on,
have this.
man.
We can't have this. So yeah, I don't expect Shardul to play, but yeah, a decent case for both Shami and Ashwin to come in.
True, and India have won the toss and they've opted to bowl first. Nikhil, bhai, you mentioned that the surface has been rolled extremely because they want high runs. I mean, they want a high scoring encounter. That's what the fans
Yeah.
are here for. That's what they want to see. Entertainment usually for most fans is boundaries, sixes, and all of that jazz. What are you expecting? Because given that Shami is also someone who will sort of throw his hat in contention for this game. Gurkirat has also mentioned time and again, if there's one game he would like to see Shami play in the World Cup, it would be this against Pakistan in Ahmedabad, given the surface, given how good he has been here in the IPL as well. Do you see him coming in? Because now that you know it's a black soil wicket, again, you'd also mentioned off air that it tends to crumble a bit, it tends to slow down, and all of that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think all of this happens, but again, it really depends on how well rolled it is for it to break up at any point of time. And now, if dew is also expected, which they have been expecting, so it makes sense also to chase K. You expect the deck to get, even if it is slowing down, it should still get a bit better to bat under lights or in the second half. And one thing, very important thing to remember is Shami has got help in the later half of the game, and that is in the IPL. Thus it starts after 7:30, so that is a very later part of the game. You will have approximately 75% of the game done by then, so you have to wait very practically what you expect to happen. And again, they are bowling first. You hope ke under the sun, if there is some crumbling, some help, some grip, then they should be able to keep them to a decent score. If it under lights, the wicket gets better to bat on. And from what we hear, Gill is playing. So have a good time chasing the score down. And yes, no early jitters. Thank you.
Gurkirat, let's ask you first because I mean not first, sorry, I've already asked Nikhil by there. But since you always were behind the idea of bringing Shami in for this game, but now that you know the kind of surface that we could expect, of course, a lot of runs are expected. But yeah, the surface, because it is a black soil surface, do you now probably feel that okay, Ashwin could potentially have an edge over Shami, like in terms of bringing him into the 11 today?
एक ही change है, so let's discuss that
Yeah,
directly.
yeah.
Oh,
There's
they've
no other
they've
change.
announced the
So
changes,
Shardul's
right?
playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to talk about it. In the last game when we were discussing, I just said that I could be okay with both the calls because uh, there is merit in both. But good to see India sticking with Shardul. I just hope that Rohit has a lot more faith on Shardul in terms of giving him the ball in the middle overs. That is something that I did not like what happened in that last game, and it's important too because if it's a black soil pitch and if there is a little bit of grip, then Shardul with those knuckle deliveries or those slower ones could come in handy. And like he said the other day to Ian Bishop, he also doesn't know what will happen when he bowls the knuckle ball, even the bat. So how the batter is going to know? So yeah, I just hope that is there. And now that India are bowling first, I am hoping for a much better performance from Siraj than what was the case in the last game.
Yeah, lots of players to look forward to. There's Siraj, there's Bumrah, there's Shardul on this side. There's, of course, Babar, Rizwan, there's Imam, there's Abdullah Shafiq, who's fresh off a century. So let's talk about a few key battles in this segment. All right, so Nikhil bhai, in terms of key battles, any specific matchup or any bowler type that you're looking at, while attacking Abdullah Shafiq and Imamul Haq?
Yes, Siraj with a short ball. I mean, Imam has been caught out twice on the short stuff, so you expect that to be definitely be a plan. And again, with Abdullah Shafiq, he's someone who's very solid and doesn't take a lot of risk early on. So you will need a good ball. So I don't know why I always felt कि एक very good the dismissal that Ibrahim Zadran had. पता नहीं ऐसे क्यों एक विकेट ऐसा आएगा ऐसा लग रहा है, but I don't know who it could be for. And again, no sides. It is just visual in the mind without any graphics in terms of people playing. And again, Kuldeep versus Babar, that's definitely a battle to look out for. And Babar has had some tough time playing versus India. Highest score, not so much. And again, it's been the pressure that has been built by an early wicket. So that will go a long way. That if Pakistan get a good start, then he'll come in a lot more confident about himself and the team, and then that invariably puts the pressure back on India. Ke, how now do you look to control these things? So uh, if it's a good day, I think India will be tested, which is good. You want to be tested because that's how you want to win, big tournaments. So uh, early on, Siraj's spell will be crucial because I trust Bumrah to hold his line. But if Siraj can get his radar right and strike early, it will just set it up nicely for Bumrah and Kuldeep then to just set the game up for India.
That's true. And Gurkiran Nikhil Bhai mentioned he would like to see how Babar faces Kuldeep in the middle overs. The other important batter for them is, of course, Mohammad Rizwan, another batter who's fresh off a century, who's been in great form. Someone you'd also mentioned how he's opened up his offside game to, ensure he's able to access those areas, get those boundaries. Yes, exactly. So, how do you think India should now counter that, the Rizwan conundrum?
I'm actually, Nikhil was talking about Babar versus Kuldeep. The way I see it, it's a battle between the 3-4-5 versus the Indian bowlers in the middle overs phase. Because the way Pakistan like to play, they will take their time in the first 10-15, then they start look to consolidate, and they want to set up a base wherein in the last 10 they can go big. Although going big in the last 10 has not really happened in this World Cup so far. So maybe that is something that Pakistan should look out for. But in the middle overs, I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that the battle between Kuldeep, Jadeja, and maybe even Shardul on this pitch versus those 3-4-5 is a good battle to look out for. Kuldeep in that last game took a fifer. There was nobody who was reading him, and Shardul bowled a peach to get rid of Rizwan. So I'm hoping, this trio versus the Pakistan trio makes for a good battle. I don't think you can really break it down into individuals, because I just think that there will be a lot of complement bowling and complement batting between those three players. And yeah, a huge game for Babar in just in terms of his legacy as a batter, because like Nikhil mentioned, he's not had a good time. I think his highest score is some 47, 48. He's not had a 50 so far. So, and even in this World Cup, he's not started off well. So, it would be interesting to see. The other battle is obviously now, Pakistan will bowl second. If, the sun sets early and there is the lights are in effect, then Shaheen, even though he's not picked up wickets in this World Cup in the power play, and usually we have seen that it's only about his first 2 overs, and later on it becomes easier to play him. So that battle, because Hassan Ali's been bowling well, so those first 7 to 8 overs of Indian innings when India come out to chase is going to be a good battle. Because I personally feel, no disrespect to Pakistan, I think the only way, there are only two areas where Pakistan can actually hit India and get ahead of them. One is that middle overs batting, if Indian bowlers don't bowl the right lines or at the right pace, and the other is hitting India with 2 wickets in the first 7, 8 overs, because that is the only way I think Pakistan can control the game. If these two things don't happen, then I don't see how India can lose grip of this game.
All right. I'm personally very interested in seeing how Shaheen goes about, in the second innings. So yeah, lots to look forward to there. Lots to talk about in the preview as well. So guys, all 55 of you, whoever's watching, please make sure you're liking the stream. Make sure you've also subscribed to us if you haven't already. We'll also take questions as and when we can. So
the number of likes will determine what is Virat Kohli's score, guys. So please,
all right, you've heard it here. You've heard
kill
it
that
here.
like button. Kill that like button.
Exactly. Please make sure you're doing that. So let's take a few questions here. A lot of them are, of course, around Shardul and how he's in the 11. Sandeep Vishwanath asks us, Shardul over Shami, any specific reason? Gurkirat, you can start first.
Yeah, I think it's just with the fact that India are expecting a good batting pitch, and they feel they might have to chase something around 300, and for that they need that batting depth. So could be that. And the idea would have been, again, with the toss going India's way, I think the idea would have been that they'll go with Shardul, expect him to get something out of the pitch with the grip on offer, and probably be more effective than Shami in the middle overs. So Shami also picked up a lot of wickets when he picked up in those wickets in Ahmedabad when he was bowling second under lights. So I think in that regard, India's first plan would have been that. So they would have really made the 11 like that. But I just feel there was not too much to pick. I actually thought Shardul could get dropped purely because of how he was used in the last game. But I think maybe the last game was an aberration, and there's a lot of trust on Shardul from the team management side, which is a good thing because you want to back those who are playing and those who are always under the pump. Shardul is one cricketer who's always under the pump on social media with people vying for his head despite performing.
True. And Pranav Anand actually points out a very interesting, comment by Sanjay Manjrekar, someone who, of course, Gurkirat Paji respects a lot more than, say, the other broadcast. I mean, the other experts in our, broadcast. I'll just leave it at that. Pranav Anand says, slightly disappointed that Iyer is playing over Kishan, as Nawaz now can bowl 10 overs a bit too easily. And these were Sanjay Manjrekar's words. Nikhil bhai, do you agree with this? Like, was there ever going to be a debate over Iyer not playing and Kishan probably playing over him?
No. Let's move on.
All right.
Just one thing, how often would you hear Sanjay Manjrekar say that a non-Mumbai player should play ahead of a Mumbai player? So that is where he's changed, but I don't agree with this. He can have his bad opinions as well. I don't agree with this one.
Sure. All of us are entitled. Yeah.
Sanjay spoke in my mind.
Exactly. That's true.
See, not every Sanjay can be off the mark.
Nicely done. Of course, our producer Vikas Shukla, he says, just came back from the fan cams and Ahmedabad is buzzing. Watch this space. Lots of fan reactions coming in the next 16 hours. 100% guys. Just make sure you're watching the space. And all of you guys who are near the stadium, who are in Ahmedabad, of course, look who it is.
Dude, I mean, it was ridiculous. Just to give you guys an impression, check out the fan cams. Gurkirat, we couldn't breathe, man. It was insane. They say 130,000 nicks. I don't think it was 130,000. I think it was like 545,000 million people over there. It was insane. I've been to so many games, Akshay, but this one is definitely up there. What do you think makes India-Pakistan stand out, not just in cricket, but in sport?
I know the reasons. I don't think this is the right platform to mention.
We can do anything like cricket.com over there. Early predictions then. Do you think we're just going to absolutely romp them?
I hope not. Like I said yesterday, I would like to see a close match. I would like to see it go down to the wire. India win by 1 wicket. More than happy to see that.
Okay, super. Let me just ask you guys a question before I doze off and get my food. Not doze off by any stretch. Nikhil, if India win today, okay, you have to choose, okay? India win today but lose the World Cup, or we lose to Pakistan and win the World Cup. What are you choosing?
I know what he's choosing.
Always win the World Cup. That's
win the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Because someday this streak is going to get broken. You have to look at bigger things. In fact, if India lose to Pakistan and win the World Cup, that could actually be, the pressure, or those players who've been involved in this loss, they will not feel the heat as what I feel many would have faced in the 2017 Champions Trophy or the 2021 World T20. So if you win the World Cup, doesn't matter who you lose to, because you have to keep the bigger picture in mind.
Okay, super. And is it the first time in the previews and the reviews that all four of us are Indian jerseys, bro? Maza.
Yeah, it's a surprise to see Akshay wear it. Did not expect it.
इंडिया का जर्सी पहन के आए भाई, बोला था कल कि I'll be flaunting my Indian jersey. You don't have to worry. हम हैं भाई, हम हैं, हमारे पास है जर्सी है. खाली आरसीबी का जर्सी रख के नहीं बैठते हम. Anyways, let's take a few more questions before we move on to the next segment. Darshan Senthil, he says, looks like Shadab is still playing. Given the pitch, could he cause problems for India? Or will he be a liability given his form? Nikhil bhai, your thoughts, because he's not been in the greatest of form, something we'd also discussed during the Sri Lanka encounter, where Pakistan, of course, chased it, but their bowling wasn't at their best that day. What do you make of that?
Yeah, now given that he's going to bowl second, he will hope that there is some help on offer. And again, he's someone who at times has done better when he's bowling to a very big score to defend. So that way, it just helps teams maybe look to take him on, and that's where it kind of feels okay, he could get away with a few misses. It's like the Maxwell thing that happened with India in the third ODI. Okay, he stays on the stumps, India risk, and it doesn't work. But given his recent form, you expect India to have to counter him decently. His natural length is something that none of these Indian players are going to mind, and that is because he's bowling predominantly short and outside off. Nobody has a problem with it as of now. Even in the recent past that you've seen them play Shadab, they've all looked considerably okay versus him. So it's not been something that you will feel okay, It's not like the Shaheen angle that you're worried about, or the Nawaz ka left arm threat that you feel कि, okay, he could get something out of this. So it should not be an issue, and hopefully it is not an issue.
I mean, that won't be an issue, but before we can move on, Pranam Anand with again one of his quirky one-liners. Akshay Avnish, yeah, Vikram Betar. I'll just leave it at that. But then again, in terms of Shadab and your comparison with how Glenn Maxwell also, stuck to his lengths in the third ODI that we saw and all of that. But Gurkirat, don't you think Shadab has also shown the tendency to bowl loosener every over, if not every over, at least every other one? That inconsistency is what has been his bane in the past. So would it be fair to, not expect him to be as consistent as, say, Maxwell was on that day? Or do you still think he could be a potent enough threat for India?
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty much on board with what Nikhil said. I feel the bigger threat will probably be Nawaz. And that threat could become bigger if there is no dew and the pitch starts to slow down. Which is why I said that someone like Shubman, if he is able to survive those first 10, then he versus Nawaz would be a key, because he's shown in the past that he can take on left arm spin well. And at this venue, he's been able to take on most bowling types well enough. So I'm not too worried about Shadab. It could come back to bite me later on, but just you have to go with what you've seen in recent times. And in recent times, like I said in that last game, he was bowling as if he was giving batting practice for cut shots to both the Sri Lankan batters who were taking him on. So if that remains to be the case, then I don't see it to be a big deal.
All right, it won't be a big deal, says Gurkirat, but it is a big deal for us if you guys don't hit the like button. So, guys, please, once again, a sincere request. In fact, Gurkirat has already told, jitne likes honge, utna hi Virat Kohli aaj match mein banayega. So, make sure you at least, hit 50. I mean, we hit 50 likes during the stream, because Melville here has already mentioned that if Virat Kohli gets to another 50 score today, it'll be his 6th consecutive 50+ score against Pakistan in World Cups. Would we not love to see that streak, being maintained by Kohli? So please make sure आप like button भी दबा रहे हो. As much as we like to believe कि logic सब हम भी logically हैं, but in this case, भाई like button दबाओ, कोहली का score बढ़ाओ, थोड़ा हमें भी मदद करो बस. And a lot of comments coming in. Thank you so much, guys. Just keep commenting. Do let us know what are you expecting. Let's take a few more comments. I actually would love to go to the next segment, but some of these comments are just hilarious. Some of the questions are very insightful. Something even I get to learn. So let's just take a few more. अरे बाबरा आपका भी ले लेते हैं. डुप्लीकेट नहीं है भाई. साइड से एक ये भी बता देते हैं. Yeah, Sivarama Reddy, he says, huge test of Gill's recovery, feeling 50 overs in this heat and then coming out to bat. That's a very good point. Nikhil bhai, what do you think? Because dengue, again, this is something we've also discussed. Coming off of dengue is not going to be easy. There'll be a lot of body weakness and all of that. Of course, we don't know how long has he been with dengue, but even then, he was, as recently as 3 days ago, he had to be in the hospital for his platelet count because he was low on it and all of that. Do you expect it to play a role today when it comes to his batting as well?
See, I'm just hoping and trusting them that they have taken due care and attention to his fitness queries, because that is something that's a non-negotiable. You can discuss anything else and take a risk on anything in terms of form or usage and others, but fitness, especially in such games, is not something that you can take a risk on. So I'm hoping and assuming that that is something that they have taken utmost care about, and you will see a lot of breaks during the game, and which will be fair. We've seen that in all the games about keeping people hydrated and all of that. So hopefully they were confident that he'll be able to see through, and which is why he's playing. So that is my least expectation कि ये तो definitely take care किया होगा.
All right. Neural Hacks of Vasant, he goes on to say, Akshay, game nights next, man. Love the first episode. Thank you so much, Vasant. And guys, all of you who haven't still seen the first episode, do check it out. Every episode will come. I mean, a new episode drops in every Wednesday. Do give us your feedback. Do mention in the comment section there what you liked, what you didn't like, and if you got all the answers right or not. And yeah, a lot of banter, a lot of fun there as well. But one last question, we move on to the X Factor segment. Kanan B asks us, rather says, good call to have Siraj over the temptations of Shami. Shami hasn't played for a while and he's a little rusty in the games he returns after a break. Do you think there was ever a conversation, or do you think the Indian team management was looking to drop Siraj at any point in time? Either ways.
Paji?
Thank you so much, Gurkiran. It's like the consistency.
Yes.
Consistency.
I just thought 25 minutes चले गए, 5 minutes और है. Have to just survive this this falls short, but doesn't
The
happen.
moment you drop your guard, it's proper cricket and life lesson.
Like the stream, and Virat only you know who in the cricket.com team is not a fan of Virat Kohli. Vikas Shukla is the guy, so please go after him.
Very, very-
anyway,
Yeah,
anyway,
very
so
sincere.
as I was saying, uh, yeah, I don't think it would have been a conversation in the Indian team because just 2 or 3 matches ago he had taken that 6 for, and he's been fairly consistent, and everyone's allowed a bad game. Everyone's allowed a bad game. India would be happy that that bad game came versus Afghanistan, where India did not have to face anything in terms of a scare or anything. So hopefully he's back to his best today. And this is what I said. Even if Shami plays, he plays in place of not in place of Siraj.
True. Sukhbir Singh goes on to ask, where are the fan cams? I mean, the next fan cam episode drops out 8 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Stay tuned. A lot of fun content there. More than a lakh, Indian fans out there near the stadium. Avnish has had a ball trying to cover all of them, trying to have fun with them. So stay tuned tomorrow, 8 a.m. sharp. The video will drop. So yeah, let's move on to the X Factor segment. A lot of talk has happened. A lot of chatter has happened. Who do we think our X Factors are? Let's see in this segment. Yep, talking about X Factors, there are very few names that would come very instantly to my mind. But I know one name that'll come on top of everyone's head when it's an India-Pakistan encounter. But either ways, let me say my names for the end. Let Nikhil Bhai go first. Let Gurkirat Bhai go first. Only then will I say my name before I make a fool of myself, like always. So Nikhil Bhai, who are you expecting to be the X Factor for today's game?
Hardik Pandya. Again, the role that he plays, you expect Pakistan to be cautious, as Paji rightly mentioned in the earlier half. They'll take their time, and that they might look to play out Siraj and Bumrah without taking undue risk. Agar bura ball aaya, so they will definitely go for it. But that makes the role of Hardik even more crucial. And what we saw in the last game, they went to Hardik before they went to Shardul. So that also tells you that that's what there's something that they rely on. And again, Hardik in Ahmedabad, he knows conditions as well as he should. Long square boundaries, his short ball into the deck bowling. Again, if he gets his line right, it could be very good to see. And even with the bat, I hope it's not required. And yes, Melville, I read that comment, and I hope it's not putting any pressure. But again, it's just trying to read as much in terms of where the game could change a lot. So I think that's where Hardik's bowling could be very, very crucial. And with the bat, I'm genuinely hoping he's not required.
All right. And Gurkirat, where do you stand in this?
Yeah, I wanted to go for one name that I'm sure you are going to go for, but I'll now change it. Yeah, it's Hardik's been taken. I'm sure Virat's been taken. So it
I was
leaves
going
me
for
with.
Babar. I don't know. I was going for Babar.
How do you not expect Akshay to throw googly?
So yeah, I'm think going for Gill wouldn't have been the worst call, but because he's coming back from an illness, a little skeptical. But I think Kuldeep could be the key in terms of those middle overs and getting, because I feel Rizwan has not faced a lot of Kuldeep, and Rizwan's a very important batter in that lineup. So if he could do that, because in that Chennai game, Kuldeep delivered a big wicket of Warner. Last game he was bowling well. I still feel Hashmatullah Shahidi could have been taken care of easier if he had not been removed from the attack. So I feel Kuldeep's going to be a good X factor that way. Uh, and yeah, uh, hopefully India not chasing too much.
Yeah.
All right, and of course, my X factor was in Babar Azam. As much as I like the guy and love his stroke play, it is, of course, Virat Kohli. How can you not like the guy? I always maintain the stance that
You
I'm not
should
a
ask
Virat Kohli.
You should ask Vikas. How can you not?
Yeah, of course. But yeah, like I was saying, I usually maintain that I'm not a Virat Kohli fanboy, but it's hard to look past him. An India-Pakistan encounter, every time, like with him, it's always been that come the hour, come the man. That's pretty much been the definition of Virat Kohli's career in terms of how every big match, I mean, most big matches, he has been there for India. I'm expecting nothing less from him. Ahmedabad, the kind of surface, the kind of attack that Pakistan have, expect Kohli to be able to overcome, those sort of obstacles and hopefully get to his 40th century, man. I'd really like to see him get to his 50th century in this World Cup and be done with it. Just retire, just chill, just play the IPL, win an IPL trophy for RCB, and of course continue to play tests for India. बस अरे आप पूरा सुन लो
ठीक है
यार.
ओके आगे
अच्छा, ठीक है. Just the last few comments. Melville says we've hit 50 likes. Kohli's 50 is guaranteed. Thank you so much, guys. That's all we wanted. I mean, not that's all. Of course, we want more.
50 is boring now. With
Yes.
see, okay. I'll just answer this. If Virat scores a 50, his average comes down. We at least need a score that takes his average up. Please.
Interesting. All right, you've heard it here once again. Let's aim for
Like-
100 likes so that we can get to see Virat Kohli's 48th ODI century today in Ahmedabad. I'm sitting in Ahmedabad, but of course, I'll also be watching it on TV, just like you guys. All of us are looking forward to the game. The last couple of comments before we, sort of wrap up the preview and of course focus on the game that will be in front of us. Greg says, King Kohli to score 150. Geez, big words, man. Of course, I mean, aapke muh mein ghee shakar. Let's hope that actually happens. I actually did see a good question by a certain, Sumir Tyagi. There we go. A strong partnership ahead, Pakistan openers. This is actually a point I wanted to bring up. Imam ul Haq hasn't been in the greatest of form, neither versus India, nor in general, nor in the recent past. And of course, against India, he's only played the 4 games, but just 28 runs in them. Do you think, given the big occasion, Nikhil bhai, what do you think? Imam ul Haq, Abdullah Shafiq, of course, is still a rookie. I mean, rookie as in is still a youngster, slightly inexperienced at the highest level. A strong opening partnership is a possibility for Pakistan.
They would love to. I mean, every team would love to have a very good opening partnership in a very big game. But the pressure will be there, and which is why I said Siraj's first spell is everything. And again, I'm not understating it. Siraj, if he's hitting his mark, that will be very difficult. And again, there are things that we discussed about how to get Imam out in that regard. So, as you see, most bowlers to take 3 wickets in ODIs, Siraj is right up there with Haris Rauf. So with Siraj, I think it's the first wicket. The moment he gets that first wicket early, he is just a completely different bowler. Something you associate with spinners at times more, but I think with Siraj, he just gets into rhythm that much bit better. So I'm hoping that is the case with him and India. So you can have a 150 run stand maybe in the next game Pakistan. एक गेम में जाने देते अगले गेम में ले लो कोई इशू नहीं ऑस्ट्रेलिया के सामने लवली डू इट
बैंगलोर में ये मैच लवली और भी लवली तो अच्छा खेल लो मौसम भी अच्छा खेल लो वहां पे आज नहीं बस
यस
anyways prediction time. Let's just get our predictions out there. First prediction before we talk about results or inning scores and all of that. How much do you think Babar Azam is scoring today, Nikhil bhai? Because he, again, versus India doesn't have a 50 yet in ODIs at least. Hasn't been in the greatest of form recently as well. In fact, this is the first time he's played 5 consecutive matches without crossing the 30-run mark in any of them. So goes on to show how badly he would also want to be back amongst the runs. What do you think, Nikhil bhai? How much is he scoring today?
या 30 के आसपास जो एवरेज है उसको रखो सब खुश चिल
Gurkirat, what about you?
I was going to say 35, so not much difference.
Good.
All right, again, थोड़ा devil's advocate अभी तो play कर ही लेते हैं. Let him score a nice 70, 80. थोड़ा run बनाए ताकि India भी like I want some fight. I want India to go. I don't want Pakistan to go down without giving a fight. So let's hope he scores a 70, 80 on the back of which Pakistan could potentially score something in excess of 300 maybe. But speaking of which, Nikhil bhai, Pakistan first innings, how much are they scoring?
I'll stick to VVS 281 and then a very good chase.
Okay.
Hundreds by top 2 of the top 3 and a very good game.
Fair, all right. Gurkirat, Pakistan, how much in the first innings are they scoring?
Yeah, he's gone for VVS, so I'm going for Rahul Dravid, 270.
Nice.
All right, then I'll be going.
ऐसे ही compliment करना पड़ेगा और तो like VVS, Rahul Dravid have got.
तो हम वीरेंद्र
ये
सहवाग
जाएगा
के
ग्रैम
साथ
वुड्स के लिए लगा ही मेरे को जाएगा
अरे
डोनाल्ड ब्रैडमैन ही कर दो 334.
चाहिए तो मैं थोड़ा महिला जयवर्धने और क्या अपना ब्रायन लारा के पास सोच रहा था फिर लगा नहीं भाई गाली खाऊंगा तो वीरेंद्र सहवाग क्लोज अप So let's hope 319 at least is how much they end up with today. Because again, like I said, we need a nice game, not just the off-field antiques, but on the field also. We would like to see some fight. We would like to see some, a close encounter for sure. Because this World Cup has seen a lack of close encounters. Of course, the matches have been nice. The matches have been.
Sumesh is keeping count. Sumesh is keeping count of that.
Exactly. इसीलिए Akshay will go for Mickey Arthur. I don't think I follow, but sure, I'll just take that comment either ways. But yeah, that's it from us in the preview, guys.
Maybe he means you have to do your homework.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. All right. I've heard what Sanjay's. I've seen what Sanjay has done there. But anyways, on that note, it is time for us to wrap up the preview. All of us, of course, want to eagerly watch the game as well. Make sure you guys tune in back at the end of the first innings. 5 minutes post the end of the first innings, we will be back here with the mid innings review, talking about why Pakistan ended up with 319 and lots more, of course. So please make sure you come in then, and of course, please make sure you've hit the like button now as well. Make sure you've subscribed to us if you haven't already. And yeah, the more you like, the more Virat Kohli scores. And right now, we are expecting Virat Kohli to score no more than 51. I don't think it's like that. So make sure you're doing that as well. That's it from all of us.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Have a great game.
Chak de.